of trust between workers and bosses in South Africa. They're polarised not only in terms of pay, but opinion as well, with each blaming each other for the woes of the economy. In a passionate opinion piece earlier this month, the president of the Workers and Socialist Party said that workers were the scapegoats, but he said capitalism was the problem and bosses the saboteurs. For example, it's estimated that companies are sitting on 500 billion rand that could create jobs. Well, the WASP party was born out of the 2012 mining strikes and the shootings in Marikana. It took part in elections this year. The president, Moses Mayikiso, joins us now. On the other side of the debate, Herman Mashaba, who recently left the Free Market Foundation to join the DA. He's an entrepreneur and the founder of Black Like Me Cosmetics Company. Good evening to you both, gentlemen. Moses, let me start with you. How are bosses, in your opinion, sabotaging the economy?
Well, our understanding, our opinion is that it's the bosses themselves that are to blame when it comes to the economic ills of this country. Not the striking workers, not the workers' demands, etc., etc. You find that the workers always will be taken as scapegoats for the ills, the ill-conceptualized ways of operating business in South Africa. Take the NUMSA strike. NUMSA demands are easy demands and are demands that are not based on pure political demands, but yes, political because everything is political. But the bosses have pulled out of the debate, pulled out of the negotiations. That is negotiation in bad faith, and therefore that is sabotaging the economy. You have just mentioned the 500 billion that is touched somewhere, that the bosses are not interested to invest in the economy. And therefore, that is sabotage again. Then you find that they always threaten that if the strikes continue, therefore they will leave South Africa and that will affect the economy. Yes, that will affect the economy, but that again is sabotage. That is showing that they are not interested in the economy of the country. They are interested only on profits, making profits, but not to grow the economy for distribution, equal distribution.
Should we blame business people for wanting to make profits? Profits help the economy grow, and the old argument, it helps to create jobs.
Yes, there is that debate. We believe that, yes, investments create jobs, but in South Africa, unemployment is plus minus 30%. Where is those jobs? You find that the impetus to invest is to make profits, not to grow the economy, not to assist South Africa to get out of poverty, inequalities, and insecurities, unemployment included. So therefore we have to blame the bosses, and they keep on lying and saying that it's because of the strikes that things are bad, and not concentrating, focusing on what they have to do. So it's only the socialist program that can, not the capitalist program of the bosses.
Herman, are the bosses the baddies?
Well, absolutely not. I think really something quite fundamental that Mr. Mayikiso is missing to actually understand why people go into business in South Africa, anywhere in the world, in the history of mankind. People go into business because they want to make money for themselves and their families. I think it's a fundamental human characteristics that I think you try and really take that away, you destroy the economy. And in the process of people going into business to make money, the beauty of it is that they then employ other people, they grow the economy, they do all the beautiful things that all the developed nations and everybody wants to really see happening. So I think it's really important to really be very careful about this rhetoric presenting business people as if they are evil people, that they are bad people. Because what it does, firstly, obviously, it messes up economic activity in our country, firstly. And secondly, what it does, it discourages our kids out there who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs and business people, because they then tend to really believe that to be a business person, you're a bad human being. In the meantime, I think as a country, we need to find a way to really celebrate business people, because they are the ones who are responsible for creating all these beautiful things that we have. They are the ones responsible for arresting unemployment. But at the end of the day, what is really fundamental for people to really understand, people don't really go into business because they've got good intentions. In fact, I've said this so many times to people in our country that we have someone as a great human being called Archbishop Desmond Tutu, great human being. If employment of people had to really do with good intentions, I can assure you Desmond Tutu would really be the biggest employer, not in South Africa, in the world. Employment of people happens when the country allows entrepreneurs, allows ordinary South Africans to really take chances out there to really develop their skills and really be the best they can be. In that process, then they will employ others. But then, absolutely agree with the defense of the vulnerable employees. That is when now you need a strong government that can ensure that, I think, our people are not exploited, like what happened during the apartheid days, when our mothers, our fathers and forefathers were never really represented. But then what we then have to really do as society, coming out of an evil system of apartheid, now with our new democracy, we've obviously really moved from one end off to the next, where now today we're seeing our people actually being oppressed by the labor organizations, because then what happens is that if you don't really belong to a particular labor union, then really your life is not comfortable in our communities. So I think that's when we really need a government that can be neutral in ensuring that the labor organizations, people are in labor, are protected and their interests are looked after. But at the same time, we need a government that can ensure that you have business activity in our country. And that's really something that's actually missing to really do in our country. We keep on really hearing this rhetoric portraying business as if it's business people are evil. And business people have got such a critical role to really play in our country. Particularly, you look at small business. I mean, it's really unfortunate how we've destroyed small business in this country the last 20 years. Focusing on big companies and big mining houses, totally forgot about small businesses, which have really been responsible for driving employment in our country. Let me stop, because you've raised a whole lot of issues. Let's start with the issue about the rhetoric, and I would like to put that to you, Moses. Yes. That I do agree that increasingly, in the words that people are using, bosses are the baddies, And should we have this polarization? Are we all not on the same side, with bosses creating more job opportunities? Perhaps we can look at opportunities for workers to become owners, to become involved. Shouldn't we all be on the same team? And isn't that uncomfortable feeling perhaps responsible for business not investing as it should, for sitting on those hundreds of billions?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the rhetoric. Yeah.
Give me some rhetoric.
And polarization. And
should we play a blame game?
I respect the entrepreneurs, like my colleagues, next to Herman. And he has done very good for South Africa. And we need those entrepreneurs. Definitely we need them. We need small businesses. But when it comes to monopoly capital, it's where the problem lies. And when it comes to monopoly capital, disinvesting, capital flight, leaving unemployment at home, he is not going to go to Britain, definitely.
Absolutely.
So therefore,
not.
we have to support the entrepreneurs, the homegrown entrepreneurs. But when it comes to now, this big monopoly capital, look at Old Mutual. What did they do? SAB, what did they do? Capital flight, running away from the very hungry people. And that has contributed to the unemployment. So therefore, I agree that we need entrepreneurs, we need small businesses. when we talk of nationalization, we're not talking of nationalization of the entrepreneurs that are giving employment on the ground. We're talking of the commanding heights of the economy, the banks, that are the source, the big capital Anglo-Americans of today, and many foreign interests in the country. That is not here for profit.
He does have a point, Herman, that a lot of big companies, and I know you can't speak for them, but they are reorientating abroad. Anglo-American recently saying maybe we're going to unbundle.
I have a different viewpoint as far as the companies that is mentioned, SAB, Old Mutual. I mean, for me, SAB, as a South African, it's really one of those great companies that I so admire. Every time I travel all over the world, I really look at the influence that they've creating South Africa, really putting us in a totally different mindset. If you look at SAP, the amount of money that they spent in our communities over the years, the amount of people that they employ in this country, the international profile that it gives this country, I think we have to really celebrate and actually be proud of such companies. Not think about nationalizing them, because you nationalize them, within a year those businesses will collapse. I mean, nationalization of companies and businesses, it's a system that has so many times failed. I mean, we can ask our partners in BRICS, the Russians and the Chinese, in terms of nationalization of assets, what actually creates in their situation. So I think we cannot really as a country afford to emulate policies and systems that have already dismally failed. As I say, we're in BRICS. Our president is now in Brazil with former communist countries. Please let him ask Putin and the Communist Party in China. I'm sure those countries, if obviously they can get an opportunity to advise us, they will say, please, guys, please stay away from.
Let's bring it home, actually. The new Public Enterprises Minister today saying that SAA and Eskom, you must really get their houses in order. We haven't seen these fantastically well-run state companies.
No, absolutely. In fact, Francis, I will differ as far as that is concerned.
No,
I think you take. How can anyone say? How can we really make a statement that SAA is a best-run company? It's really unfortunate we can make that statement.
That they are not well-run.
Yeah, those are the companies that Mr. Mayikiso and his party must be looking at nationalization. Actually, not nationalization.
So you support us?
No, actually, don't nationalize them. Give them to black South Africans to really run. Governments in this world today to really own an airline, it's not really a business for government to really run. Those type of businesses must be privatized. And this, we've got an opportunity
Moses,
to really...
let him respond.
Yeah. Well, nationalization having failed.
You are saying, I just want to clarify that you did say in your opinion piece that if companies threaten to close down and they can't make a profit, we should nationalize them.
Yes, I'm still saying that, and I'm saying that the solution is a socialist dispensation based on a program, a clear program, planned economy under the control of the working class. Not the international capital and the monopoly capital. That's what we're saying. And then nationalization haven't failed. No. We don't think a well-planned nationalization and a well-planned economy can fail. What has failed is a commandist type, a top-down approach. We're saying that let's democratize under the workers' control, under the working class control, so that whatever that comes out of the economy is getting back distribution-wise, not to the individuals and to
Mr. Mayikiso, the socialist system does not really allow an open society. It operates on the basis of a one-party state.
We are talking of Russia. We are talking of the failed
how are you going to really run a socialist system in a democratic environment? South Africa, as the world today, is moving into an open society.
Under the control of the working class, you have never seen that system. Under the control of the working class, you have seen the systems under the control of nationalists and the capitalists.
We're running out of time. I'm going to give you each a very short word. Can't we have a mix where workers do well and bosses do well as well? We look at that third way, perhaps shares in the companies, things like that. Why aren't we thinking of new, innovative, blended ways of doing things? Very quickly.
Well, I think, if you want employees to really benefit out of the wealth of this country, ensure that you educate them, give them the best skills ever. And I think by so doing, without any doubt, people will really be part to sharing the wealth of this country.
Well, the answer to the ills of this country is to get rid of capitalism and introduce a socialist system that is based on the program, a democratic program of worker control of the means of production in this country.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's been a very engaging debate. That was the president of the Workers and Socialist Party, Moses Maikiso, an entrepreneur and the founder of Black Like Me, Herman Mashaba.